With the name of Almighty One God, who is most merciful and beneficent. May be peace, greeting, and mercy of Almighty One God on all of you. My name is Dr. Abu Abdullah, and we are trying to learn the last revelation of Allah by Himself. And it is unchanged, not maligned, not corrupted since its revelation, because Allah is protecting it Himself. So, we are starting with chapter Abasa. It's number 80, Abasa. The commentators and traditionalists are unanimous in pointing out that the revelation of the surah was during the early stages of Prophet's residence at Mecca. So it was revealed in Mecca. What are the major issues, divine laws, and guidance in this chapter? Number 1, the commandment that seekers of guidance should be given preference in conveying Allah's message. Number 1. Number 2, man is reminded to recognize his Creator. Number 3, on the day of judgment, man will be so concerned about himself that he will not even care about his own mother, father, brother, or children. Upon reading the opening words of this chapter, one feels that in this surah, Allah has expressed His displeasure against the Prophet, peace be upon him, for his treating the blind man with indifference and attending to the big chiefs exclusively. But in reading the whole surah or chapter objectively, one finds that the displeasure in fact is expressed against the disbelieving Quraysh, who because of their arrogant attitude and indifferences were rejecting the message of truth and contempt. The error in this method that the Prophet, peace be upon him, adopted at the start of his mission is pointed out. His treating of the blind man with neglect and disregard, and consequently devoting all the attentions to the Quraysh chiefs, was not because he regarded the rich as noble and a poor blind man as contemptible. Naturally, when a caller to the truth embarks on the mission of conveying his message to the people, he wants the most influential people of the society to accept the message so that his task may become easier. Almost the same attitude the Prophet, peace be upon him, had adopted in the beginning, and an attitude of sincerity and a desire to promote his mission and not out of the respect for the rich people and hatred for the poor. But Allah made him realize the correct method of extending invitation of Islam from his mission's point of view. Every man who has a seeker of the truth was important, even if he was weak or poor, and every man who was heedless to the truth was unimportant, even if he occupied a high position in the society. So we start reciting the verses of Abasa. He frowned and turned away when there came to him the blind man. The name of the blind man was Maktoum, who came to the Prophet and interrupted his conversation with the chiefs of Mecca. How could you, O Muhammad, tell he might have sought to purify himself or become reminded and might have benefited from our reminder? As for him who thinks himself without need, to whom you are giving all your attention, You will not be held responsible if he would not purify himself. Yet to him who came to you with zeal on his own, and with fear of Allah to his hearts, you gave no heed. Nay, it should not be. So surely this is but an admonition. Let him who wants pay attention to it. It's written in scrolls which are honored, exalted, purified, and which remain in the hands of scribes who are noble and virtuous. This is the verse 1 to 16. And here it's described the seekers of guidance should be given preference in conveying Allah's message. Next, we continue. Woe to disbelieving man how ungrateful he is. Out of what Allah has created him, out of a semen drop. Allah created him and then fashioned him in due proportion, then make the way easy for him, then cause him to die and stoves him in a grave. Then he will surely bring him back to life when he pleases. By no means has he fulfilled the duty that Allah had assigned him. Let him reflect on the food he eats. We pour down rainwater in abundance and leave the soil asunder. We bring forth grain, grapes, and vegetables, olives, and dates, lush gardens, fruits, and herbage as a means of sustenance for you and your cattle. These are the verses 17 to 32, and here is described: recognize your Creator and fulfill your obligations. Finally, when there will come the deafening blast, on that day each man shall flee from his own brother, his mother and his father, his wife and his children. For each one of them on the day shall have enough concern of his own to make him indifferent to the others. Some faces on the day shall be shining, smiling, and joyful, and some faces on that day shall be dusty and veiled with darkness. These shall be the face of disbelieving wicked. These are the verses 33 to 42, and here is described: on the day of judgment no one shall care about his own mother, father, brother, or children. So this was the verses of Abasa. So here we conclude our lecture. Thank you for watching my channel, Dr. Abu Abdullah.